Association already with us. I can see Anshul already with us. I can see from Washington, D.C., Dr. Gupta already with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really delighted this evening to have someone very well known in the country with me on this show. This personality has added a lot of dimensions to the Maruti Suzuki in particular, and not only to the automobile industry, but overall industry in the country. A well-known trendsetter, a go-getter, a versatile and a professional, turning thoughts into things by action, action, and action on the ground. His name is Mr. S Kalsi. We call him Kalsi-san, who is presently executive board member at Maruti Suzuki. I am happy to welcome Kalsi-san to this prime time leadership excellence series called New DNA of Leadership. In fact, this is our 35th show, continuously last 9 months, with the first show again with well-known, most respected Mr. Siddiqui, the first show of New DNA of Leadership, almost 9 months back. And he is watching us, he must be feeling delighted that I have taken this show forward, because we got people from almost 14 countries, business leaders, army generals, police generals, IM directors, vice chancellors. So from business to police to military to education excellence leaders on this show from near about 14 countries every Wednesday evening. I'm really grateful to each one of them for contributing to this new DNA of leadership, wherein we talk about leadership excellence at various places in the country and globally. I would therefore like to welcome the great personality, Kalsi-san, whom I know last 2 decades, to this wonderful show. Kalsi-san.
Thank you, Bakshi Saab, for such a wonderful introduction. And hello, all the viewers. Hello, Siddiqui-san. It's really an honor to be on your show, Bakshi Saab. And please go ahead with your questions. It will be my pleasure to interact with you.
With such a great man, R.S. Kalsi-san has more than 3 decades of rich experience in the automobile industry, while serving as executive director at Maruti Suzuki. He has been leading the growth at number one automobile company in the country with highly innovative approach and strong business acumen. He advanced to several diverse roles from operations to strategic areas, and has driven Maruti's market expansion and introduced very path-breaking practices, which you will hear today at channel as well as other stages of the corporation. When you look at Kalsi-san, he brings to this table a unique blend of business acumen skills along with keen sense of several practical, on-ground execution in such a large organization wherein every day there is a new challenge as to maintain and to enhance leadership of Maruti in the country is not an easy task. He has been on the board of directors since 2009. Kalsi-san is enabled to be one of the change drivers, taking challenges in various assignments in the organization, continuously contributing to the mission of Maruti, which keeps changing every now and then due to the next to impossible targets they set in at the top management at the board level, wherein he is equally an important decision maker. When you look at Kalsi's son, he has been keen and super dynamic understanding of every changing customer needs, which we will discuss today. His drive for passion to create value, not only for the company's stakeholders, but also for employees and the industry overall. Here, when we talk about industry, we do not talk about only automobile industry. We talk about overall industry, because Maruti Suzuki has been a benchmark company in our country for the entire industry. Presently, Kalsi-san heads the dynamic Maruti sales and marketing function, which houses several multi-crore SBOs. Kalsi-san, in fact, advocates for talent and lead large teams through a very strong people orientation, and has been instrumental in bringing together cross-functional groups to work on challenging projects every now and then. Kalsi-san, known as Mr. Mobilizer, I repeat, Mr. Mobilizer in the industry, and regularly engages in dialogues with peers, teams for achieving very complex business objectives of unparalleled, unknown, unheard figures and numbers. Every number written down in the plan is getting to the ground with high execution plan, with passion for performance at each level of employee, and from a leadership to grassroots level. This is where his leadership and business acumen skills are well known today in entire Maruti Suzuki, not only locally, internationally at Japan. Kalsi-san strategizes, spearheads incubation, as well as establish key strategic and futuristic business from grassroots level, the results of which include Maruti Insurance, Maruti Finance, Maruti Commercial Vehicles, True Value, Maruti Driving Schools, the new exclusive automobile Nexa channel. We will be discussing about this Nexa channel, and an evolved network. His key contributions have aimed at and initiated some of the industry best practices which other industries follow. So when you look at Kalsi-san, he is like a celebrity in the entire country. We will find him around many Bollywood stars, many sports, especially cricket stars around him when he is leading these shows. So entire country feels proud of this great man who actually came from engineering college, erstwhile Delhi College of Engineering, now DTU, 1981 pass out. I had the Vice Chancellor of DTU with me on this show a couple of months back. And then he started working for first company, Telco, for 3 years. And since 1984, ladies and gentlemen around the world who are watching this show, 1984, he joined this company. And this is 2021. He has been part of Maruti Suzuki, beginning a role of a sales executive. See the ladder, how he has moved to a manager quality assurance, to head of strategic initiatives, to chief general manager of sales, to divisional head of sales, to executive director of sales, and to executive director of parts, accessories, vehicle logistics, to senior executive director of marketing and sales, and finally to executive board member. So when you look at this, this is 37 years of huge experience. Oh my God, what a professional in front of me this evening. This is amazing. This is so beautiful. This is so dynamic, a multitasked, a multi-skilled, and multi-dimensional leadership around. This is the kind of profile, ladies and gentlemen, I have with you. And in Narula, my global talent director in Bangkok is watching. in. Look at the person. And we have Alfredo from Boston watching us. Alfredo, this is what in India, 37 years plus in one company. My God. Jayan is from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur watching us. And he is from Cape Town watching us. This is the kind of profile I have today on this show. Kalsi Saab, a big round of applause for you, for your commitment, dedication.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, those who are watching us right now and those who are going to be watching us later, this is going to be an amazing discussion. I will have questions with Kalsi-san with you first, and I would request those attendees, any part of the world, whether you are on Zoom or whether you are on Facebook or Global Talent Television or on YouTube, please keep parking your questions and I will facilitate all your questions as far as possible. And those who are on Zoom, I would certainly like them to ask questions to such a celebrity themselves. Kalsi-san, can I start, sir?
Yes, please.
Kalsi-san, looking at your journey of 39 years, my God, amazing. I never knew that it's 39 years of experience. I know you as a young, dynamic, you still look like a young, dynamic personality, and you worked 39 years, and that too in Maruti Suzuki for so long. I am a Marutian, you are a Marutian, we are all Marutians. Because around me, 25 people in my first circle, there are 18 Maruti cars. That is the impact of Maruti, ladies and gentlemen, in India we have of this great company. I would like to know from you, how come you as a child, what kind of upbringing you had? And especially I would like to know about your parents, your mom, your dad, and how great they must be feeling today looking at you, personality, at this leadership excellence. Can you share about your childhood quickly, Kalsi-san?
Well, I would like to say that my childhood had been very, very interesting. Interesting in the sense that there was a lot of, empowerment, though I learned about the world much later. But when I look back, yes, my parents, they had given me a lot of freedom, a lot of empowerment. And, my parents, my mother was from Rishikesh, where she was brought up in the lap of nature on the banks of Ganges. They used to have a house, which brought her very close to the nature. And I inculcated certain values from her about, kindness, about humility, and, sort of pious nature. So those were the, values I got from my mother. While my father, he was a technical person. He was working as a foreman in a company. And from him, I, got that technical bent of mine. And he was a person who used to have a lot of focus on the education of his children. He said that education is the most important gift that its children. So there was a lot of focus on studies. At the same time, he also focused on, say, building a strong, value system among, study hard, and second is maintain good health, play sports, etc. So that was the kind of expectations that he had set, and I grew up in that kind of an environment. And let me also share with you, those days environment was not very protective. Like I used to go out, play with my friends for hours together. In the summer holidays, we used to go for swimming in a nearby canal, which was a little risky as well. But we did all those things in our childhood, which also gave us a sense of, taking risks and becoming bold and little adventurous. So that's how my childhood, during the school days was. And then, going beyond parents, there were wonderful teachers I came across during my school days, during my college days. And they were really committed teachers those days. And one of the persons who impacted my life was our principal in the school, Mr. S Agarwal. He was a recipient of President Award also as a teacher. And apart from the role of a principal, he also used to teach us English in the after school hours. So that was a commitment as a teacher he had those days. And he was a great scholar of English language. He had written many books also. So in our board exam, when people used to get distinction, he used to invite those people to his office for a cup of tea and used to take a real sense of pride. So I think that a lot of credit goes apart from parents to my teachers as well, who did, who play an important role during my formative years in the school.
Beautiful, sir. So education is what is important in life, and parents, and especially he is talking about parents as well as the teachers, and he talked about this Agarwal Sahab, one of his teachers. Great. We salute our all teachers and our parents for getting us where we are today. Fascinating, Kalsi sir. Kalsi sir, I would like to go to your journey. When and how did you plan? Who mentored you to be there, what you are today? And I would like to take this opportunity for many people who are at great roles in organizations, as well as the youngsters who are watching you, who are building their career. Did you dream to be what you are today? Or this just you started your journey and you kept moving? Because a lot of people will be looking at you as a role model. You are surely a role model for many in the industry. Can you share us whether it was a planned one or it just worked towards system?
Well, very interesting journey, I would like to say. And how, it started was, I got fascinated with engineering, particularly mechanical engineering, right as a young child, because my grandfather, he used to run a smithy workshop in our village. So he had a small workshop, people used to call it Karkhana. And we used to visit our village during summer vacations. And I used to be fascinated the way he used to, heat steel and give it shape into various, tools, various things. So that was where the mission started. And my father was also in the engineering line. So I developed that kind of liking for mechanical engineering. And as a result of this, I worked hard towards getting admission in, at that time, one of the very prestigious colleges, Delhi College of Engineering, now Delhi Technical University. Absolutely. So that's how the interest for mechanical engineering, this thing came to my mind. And again, there are interesting episodes from engineering college as well, where I still recall, we had a professor, Dr. Shastri, a very strict professor indeed. And in one of the semester exams, I didn't score well in his exam. Though I had 15 out of 15 in the, other professors, this thing paper, in his paper, I got 2 marks out of 15. So he, in his typical South Indian accent, says, "Dost, hamare saath kya narazgi hai? Why you are not doing well in this exam?" So I told him, "Sir, during 3 lectures which you covered in this examination, I was actually ill and I did not attend those lectures." He said in a tough tone, "Okay, so you see me after the class." So I was a little scared because he was a tough professor. So I went to his cabin after the class. He asked me, "Okay, what is it? The problem was that you did not score well." I again repeated the same thing. He said, "Okay, you sit down here." He took 2 hours to explain me those 2 chapters which I had missed. And you believe me, subsequently I topped in his subject. So that was the passion that teachers, even in the college those days, had. So that's an interesting story about my interest in engineering. Now, having done my engineering, I started my career, as you mentioned, with Telco, which was considered to be Makkah of engineering those days. And learned a lot in my, initial assignments. Then I joined Maruti. Now, Maruti at that point of time came with a Japanese collaboration, and there was a lot of excitement about Japanese culture, Japanese way of thinking, Japanese way of working. And we were all excited as young engineers. And what we learned at that point of time was that, you have to learn to do everything. You cannot depend on others that, okay, you wait for a sweeper to come and, clean the floor. We had a director, Mr. Shinohara those days, who will pick up the broom from a corner and start cleaning the shop floor if he was not happy with the cleanliness there. So he was a director, and it was a shock for us who were brought up in Indian culture that he is holding a broom and cleaning the shop floor. So that's how we also learned the dignity of labor, and that gave us a confidence that tomorrow, we can ask our, subordinates or colleagues to do that. And if they don't do it, we can always show them how we can do it or how to do it the best. So that was the initial learning in the Japanese culture. And subsequently, you asked the question whether I planned for this kind of a journey. I am, tempted to, using our age-old phrase from Shri Bhagavad Gita, which Dr. Pritam Singh, our mentor, used to repeat, Karmanyavadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachin, that, okay, you go on doing your work, go on accepting the challenges, and put your best into everything, and results will follow. So that was the thing, and that was the concept I had in my mind. And I was fortunate to be in the middle of most challenging assignments at various stages of my career. Because when we started with Maruti Suzuki in 1984, localization and quality, these were the two challenging areas. And I was looking after, at that point of time, quality assurance, vendor upgradation, and setting up the system that vendors and suppliers. And so it started with that. And subsequently, as we moved into, say, next phase, where we wanted to calibrate our quality with the international levels, we started exports. So I was made in charge of exports quality inspection and quality assurance. So you believe me, as a deputy manager, we got the feedback from overseas market that they got some, peanut shells in the vehicles. So I, as a manager at that point of time, used to clean the cars to ensure that no such feedback comes, apart from, of course, other technical feedbacks. So there was no apprehension that, okay, I'm a manager, I'll not clean the vehicles. So in the, say, 46-degree temperature in Delhi summers, we used to, do those activities, lying under the car, inspecting it. And the next challenge was, in the, say, around 2000, when our, say, dealers started facing crisis because of the heavy competition. So we wanted to change our role from, say, pure manufacturers of cars to mobility solution providers to the customers. Now, this was a situation where we did a lot of research, and we tried to find out what is it that a customer looks forward to when he visits the showroom. So first thing that comes to his mind is finance, and then the insurance of the vehicle. Then he may be interested in selling his old car. So he may think of accessorization of the vehicles. So with this, our strategic initiatives, were started in the name of Maruti Finance, Maruti Insurance, True Value, Maruti Genuine Accessories, Maruti Driving Training Schools. So at this stage, Mr. Khattar, he did a lot of mentoring job, and he was a person who always, used to think about potential, and rather than the targets. He used to think that what is the potential? Targets, they say they have the limitations, and if you think of potential, maybe you can go much beyond that. And as we moved forward, Mr. R.C. Bhargav, of course, he is the person who laid a very strong foundation for Maruti Suzuki. He is responsible for setting up a strong value-based organization. And our regular interaction in those days when we were very young, and he used to be director of marketing and sales, subsequently CMD of the company. We used to get a lot of inspiration from him. And even today, when he heads our management committee meetings and other review exercises, every interaction with him is a big learning. Now, he's a person whom I consider as one of my very strong mentors, and he's capable of taking 5,000 meter above the sky, above the ground view, and then maybe treetop view, and then the ground level view. Even today, he can come and sit on a desk and open an Excel sheet and start checking, okay, how you are, dispatching the vehicles. This happened with me when he accompanied me to our Nagpur warehouse. So that's the kind of, mentoring he does to his people, and certainly a great visionary. who is, playing a great role in the progress of Maruti Suzuki. So I'm thankful to all these my teachers, and then our current managing director, Mr. Ayukawa. And you asked about all the mentors during the journey, so I'm continuing with that. Now he's the person who took charge of Maruti Suzuki when it was under a lot of pressure. Market share was just 37%. Now taking the organization from there and bringing it to current stage where we have been a part of his team. And today the market share stands at 51%. And he faced, lot of critical situations, like say demonetization happened during this time, GST happened during this time, and a lot of pressure in terms of upgrading of the vehicles, introducing BS6 norms and things like that. And he has come out in flying colors. He's a person who delegates a lot of things. He communicates very well. He empowers his people. So I've been lucky. Two things: to be at the center of challenging assignments all the time. And second thing, to have got great mentors, great teachers in the form of my, educationists, in the form of my bosses, in the form of my managing director. So that's how the journey, has been moving so far.
Oh, well said. Ladies and gentlemen, Milani from Spain says, wow, what a great journey. And I can see we have Jane saying from Malaysia, what a powerful journey this personality has got. Yes, Williams, you are in Michigan. Yes, enjoy the talk. This is really powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, you just saw last 5-7 minutes, the way Kalsi-san would take journey of excellence in minutes talking about his mentors. And I'm coming here, Kalsi-san, with another important point. In 2003, 2004, a lot of changes happened, and I could see that there was a lot of focus on developing leadership excellence. And you talked about Padma Shri Pritam Singh, and he has been my guru as well. And I remember he getting involved in developing leaders for the next level of excellence. How did you get your leadership traits built up during this period, and especially when there were changes happening in 2003 onwards? And what kind of leadership practices, traits, attributes, and dynamism came to your personality from all these leadership exercises?
Well, I think that was one of the turning points in the history of Maruti when Mr. Siddiqui and Dr. Pritam Singh, got involved, and as a team, they started working on developing the top leadership or senior leadership at Maruti Suzuki. We were all divisional heads at that point of time, and the kind of mentoring that happened at that point of time, it was not just the classroom teachings. We were also taken across Europe to some of the benchmark industries, some of the benchmark B schools. So it was a very, very good exposure in terms of the latest benchmarking, technology. And the most important thing was the kind of behavioral training that we got from Padma Shri Dr. Pritam Singh. He was a person I still remember. He used to say that most important thing for you people as leaders is how many leaders you develop. He used to emphasize that lion only breeds lions. And I still remember that phrase which he used to use. And he gave a new, thought process to all of us at the senior management level at that point of time. And, breaking the silos within the organization, going across the organizational boundaries and building a strong, team where people could share anything and everything without any fear, without any apprehension. So that brought a new understanding among all the senior people, and certainly it led to great enhancement in terms of their thinking capabilities, potential. Another thing he used to emphasize was that in order to have uphill achievements, you have to move uphill. Leadership, he says, is not a about perks. It's about price. You have to pay the price for leadership by continuously going uphill. So that phase was very interesting phase. And certainly in terms of team development, it was a big breakthrough in Maruti under his guidance.
Very great. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching that leadership is going to the next orbit, going to the next uphill. And we did talk about here, how did this organization shape up to the next level of excellence in terms of creating leaders. And as Kalsi-san rightly is talking about, creating leaders behind leaders, not creating followers behind leaders. Kalsi-san, Maruti is and has been clearly maintaining, rather enhancing the leadership in the industry. How and what makes Maruti different, though you talked about some of the areas, than others to continuously ensure the product portfolio spread across huge country like India, 1.3 billion population, customer centricity, as well as aligning the strategic partners, vendors, suppliers, as well as dealers. My objective here is to understand, and it is going to be a learnability for each one of the attendees here, how and what you do it differently as compared to the industry. You are a trendsetter in any case. Whatever you do, people follow you. How and why you are different?
Well, the most important thing is our vision about customer obsession, and everything that we do is a customer-centric action. Now, the point here would be that what is it that customer wants? That kind of understanding is very important, and then aligning it with a bigger vision. Now, I'll give you, some examples here. That first thing is that our mission, once you have a bigger mission, it always, helps in achieving that, at a different scale, at a bigger scale. So idea is that mission is to bring smiles on the millions of our Indian, customers and potential customers by giving them the pleasure and joy of owning a car. Now, I come from a middle-class family, and I clearly know that what kind of enjoyment and a sense of pride the first car brings in the family. And we being a country of, say, 130 crore people, with, this kind of a population of 1.3 billion people, there is a huge potential for the people, and car is an aspirational product for them. So we have to do our best to provide them the best products, the products matching with their lifestyle, the products matching with their, say, even pocket size. That's very important. And, one of the, say, statements which was made during those days when we were working with the State Bank of India was that State Bank is a bank which is, a bank of masses across the country with more than, say, 20,000 branches, and Maruti being a car for the people. So let's bring our, country, India, on the wheels together. So that kind of synergy we could see with our partners. And then, talking about our, say, product development, we used to, or still are discontinuing a product even when it is doing well, just because we have to give the next best, option or a better option to the customers. Now, if there is a pressure on the pockets of the customers because the fuel prices, our teams had been working for years together on developing more and more fuel efficient engines so that cost of running the car also goes down. And to think of it, if we talk about our journey of 3 decades in Maruti, we started with a single model, Maruti 800, which became a cult model. And gradually, as the market evolved, market developed, we kept on introducing new models. And today we have a rich portfolio of 14 models to suit every lifestyle and every pocket. That's very important. Now we are highly technology focused. When no one was talking about AC cars, we introduced air-conditioned cars those days. When people were apprehensive about power steering, for example, that in a car you don't need a power steering, just small cars, we introduced power steering. And today, majority of our cars, 100% of our cars are fitted with power steering. when it comes to emission controls. We were the first ones to introduce BS6 cars. And then sensing the needs of the customer, as I earlier mentioned, that he wants finance, it's available under one roof. He wants insurance, it's available under one roof. He wants, to sell his old car, it's available on the same roof. So that kind of, say, customer focus is something which has been keeping us ahead of the competition. And then our approach towards our other stakeholders. For example, Dr. Deming long ago said that the boundaries of an organization extend beyond the physical boundaries of the company. On one side, they move towards the suppliers. On the next side, they move towards our dealers. And then the other service providers, whether these are the people who are maintaining our facilities, or these are people who are providing us logistics support. So they are always considered as integral part of the organization. We ensure that they are not put to any sort of discomfort because of any disruptions in the marketplace. Our suppliers, we never call them vendors, we call them our supplier partners. They are part and parcel of Maruti Suzuki. Our teams visit their organizations, help them in upgrading the technology, help them upgrading the processes, help them training their people. And likewise towards our dealers, we have a very good dealer management system, dealer training system, training the manpower, not only in terms of, say, technical areas of service and product, but also on the behavior side. So we do that kind of support, provide that kind of support. Now, for transporters, for example, our logistics partners, people may think, okay, what support you can provide them? Now, we have a training center. We have simulators where the truck drivers are trained. Now, this is a very big simulator, and truck drivers, they are given the training there. They are given behavioral training. On the simulator, we create the conditions like uphill driving, foggy situation driving, rainy season driving. So that kind of support we provide to our, say, logistics partners as well. So considering every stakeholder with the organization as a single unit, integrated unit, partners on the hand side. Now, all these partners, we have that kind of relationship where it's a win-win situation. Now, I'll be sorry to say some people try to copy that, emulate that model, but they're not successful because somewhere they missed on these core values of a win-win agreement with their partners, ensuring partner of Maruti Suzuki is totally committed towards the organization. Whenever there's any kind of a crisis, they're the ones who come forward and have a feeling of shared destiny with us. Now, shared destiny is another principle which we have been following right from the beginning. In fact, Mr. Bhargav focused a lot on shared destiny while dealing with our employees. He communicated it very clearly to the employees that if the company does well, all of you will do well. So it's a matter of shared destiny. If company doesn't do well, all of you will be in trouble. So as a result of this, each employee is fully engaged, committed, and he feels that his welfare is based on company's welfare. Now, this was a very healthy kind of a culture which was brought in, a culture of commitment from everyone. Now, same thing was extended with our business partners. So these are some of the things which I think are the DNA of Maruti Suzuki. And now you think of this current crisis, we did not sack even a single person during the COVID time, though we had almost zero production for a month. And we did not cut the salaries of even a single employee during this time. So, and we took care of the employees. So in a big way, and I'll come to it a little later. So these are some of the points which I thought I'll emphasize at this stage of our discussion.
I think what you are sharing with us this evening is a really beautiful journey of excellence, rather leadership excellence, with that what he's talking about DNA of leadership. And that is how it makes Maruti to be different than any other competitor in the country as well as in the entire industry in India. Kalsi sir, now I would like to get more deeper on the aspect of your success stories of launching 13 models in a span of 6 years. And I am here specifically talking about the premium segment like Nexa. I remember when Nexa was launched, media was sarcastic and Nexa turned to be very different. What is making Maruti to create this kind of an, respectability so far as end customer is concerned? While you talked about your partners, but your end customer, I am a Marutian, you are a Marutian, we are all Marutians. Around this building, there must be, even in a radius of just 500 meters, there will be 200 Maruti cars. Even if I look at my friends, I look at my business partners, I look at my vendors, you get number in the beginning, which seems to be challenging as a board. You seem to be very tough and difficult in terms of making sure that these numbers are met. And how do you start working from ground and take it forward and breaking numbers? It is said in Maruti that you don't meet the target, you beat the target. And you have been one of the drivers of beating the targets. How? Can you quickly talk about this Nexa thing?
Well, first of all, talking about the product range, it's an outcome of our continuous research at the ground level, keeping our eyes and ears very close to the ground and understanding customer needs. Now, understanding the current customer needs is like a dated approach, and we have to actually look at the aspirations of the customer. So that's very important. If we understand their aspirations and something which they have not experienced so far. So visualizing that, imagining that is very important, because what they say is that, remembering things or playing with data is easier. Imagining things is very, very difficult, and imagining in the right direction. So that kind of activities, are very important. And we have to see that what they have not experienced, what they have seen, we create value in that direction and give them a feeling of delight. So I would like to say that, providing, latest technology, design, and styling to our vehicles, futuristic styling in line with the global, trends is very important for us, because today's customer is a highly connected customer. He knows what is happening in, rest of the world. Unlike, before the advent of internet, or before internet became popular, 20 years ago, we could think that a customer, whatever we give him here, maybe he will not be able to easily compare it, what is available in other parts of the world and what are the best technologies. So today he is able to compare. So we have to be totally international and the best in our approach in terms of quality, design, style, technology, as far as products go. So much so that even within India, the dividing line between rural and urban markets is disappearing, because all those friends in the rural markets, they are connected through smartphones, and they travel to the cities. They understand what are the urban trends, and they follow those. It's not that they will, there will be a phase lag in terms of our rural markets, developing that kind of a taste. So today those tastes are getting, uniform across the country, across the globe. Now that is one thing. Now coming to Nexa, our research showed that we were already there in the market for almost 3 decades, till about 2014. And most of the young generation people, they had driven a vehicle or two in their family belonging to either, his father or his uncle or his elder brother. And these guys, they were thinking, oh, Maruti Suzuki, oh, it's my dad's brand. So they were that way not putting Maruti Suzuki into their consideration set. So we did a great, analysis. We did the research at the ground level that what is it that this new generation customer, what are their styles? So these were the people who were, much more sophisticated than their earlier generations. Now, these are the people who had an experience of best of the hospitality in 5 stars. They had traveled abroad. They had traveled by air. When they visit a bank, they are, approaching through the relationship manager who pampers them. So to sum it up, this is a generation which is highly pampered generation. They look forward to a different kind of a treatment, exclusive treatment. They are very discerning people. So to match with those traits, we thought that we have to develop a different channel strategy as well. So based on this research, the idea of Nexa was born. And as you know, any new idea coming, there would be certain challenges or big challenges. And I would say there were external challenges, there were internal challenges. Even most of my colleagues, they were apprehensive about it. But we were confident about our research, and we went ahead with it. And we were sure that this is going to really create a delight for our customers. So we had our internal meetings with our departmental managers and talking about this project, talking about the, say, benefits of this project, how it is going to create a delight, and also with our dealers, our external partners, that how this is the need of the hour. And I would like to say there are always three types of people or three categories of the groups. One group would immediately have a buy-in, and they will be fully supporting a new initiative whenever there's this kind of a radical change happening. There would be another group of 1/3 people who would be opposing it because they love doing it, they draw some satisfaction, or they become forecasters of doom. And then another 1/3, they are the fence sitters. They would either be this way or that way, depending on how the things shape up. So fortunately for us, we were very quick to get these 30% people on board, and another 30% fence sitters again jumping the fence, and then rest is all history when we started Nexa. And you are right, even media was apprehensive about it. They asked uncomfortable questions when we launched it. Some of my journalist friends even asked that, is Maruti going in for a big gamble by introducing this Nexa channel? So I said, corporates like Maruti work with the teams, work based on the research, data, and we never gamble. We don't take that kind of steps. So it's all based on our well-researched thought process. And now 5 years down the line, I think rest is all history. In Nexa, we have already sold close to 1.5 million, 360 outlets across the country. And I share one thing with you, that 51% of our customers who came to Nexa to buy the vehicles or to inquire about them were the ones who did not have Maruti in their consideration set earlier. So that was a kind of a game changer that Nexa has been, and it has been really changed the way vehicles are retailed in our country. And then it was followed by, say, equally, great experience at our workshops with Wi-Fi equipment. Customers could walk into a workshop, work on the laptop in an AC lounge, see across the glass wall how the vehicle is being repaired, interact with a mechanic, and things like that. So Nexa workshops also created a lot of excitement among the customers. So that's how the story goes about, say, our products.
And I'm seeing a lot of people talking about that Maruti is bringing smile to customers and sweat to competitors. And on this Nexa, somebody is writing, great move. And I can see some of the people who have joined. Sunny Slaughter from US, Shalini Pal has joined from Sahara. Oh, I can see Pankaj Dubey. Pankaj is a well-known name now, CEO of Power Global in India. Abhay Kapoor, again from automobile industry, he has joined. I can see Milane from Spain already there, Anita Raina there, and I can see George from Thailand, Bangkok already there talking about what's going on. I can see Kun Satit already there saying that. I have a couple of questions coming in, but I need to finish up. I can see Sudhir Mehti Rata from Toronto already there joining us. You're watching someone who is most admired business professional of our country and making a difference to India, Indian customers, Maruti Suzuki, as well as the leadership is making a difference. Kalsi Sir. Now I'm coming to COVID days. The impact on health, safety, and you talked about that you did not remove any employee, you did not reduce salaries. And finally, end of, I think, last quarter of 2020, things got changed. Social distancing. Earlier, there was a life of Uberization, Olization, which was before pandemic. But then by the time we landed in the last quarter of, not financial year, the calendar year 2020, we could see a steep hike. Was it because of social distancing? What was that made, or it was a genuine demand? Do you think that today millennials and the future gen is looking towards that and respecting your product portfolios? Is there a change happening into the youth? Especially I'm talking about millennials. What is your take on this?
Well, first of all, I would like to touch upon, say, the COVID part. When, lockout was declared across the country, we were all taken aback, and, factory had to be closed, and how to move forward. So at that point of time, our focus was on our people, on our employees, on our stakeholders, our dealers, say, suppliers, and our customers, to, ensure that all the safety precautions are followed. And there is no sort of, fear among them about the spread of COVID. So we followed all the COVID protocols at our dealerships, sanitization of dealerships, people wearing masks, providing masks to our customers as well, sanitizing the vehicles before delivery to the customer, packing even the keys in a sanitized this thing folder, and then handing it over to the customer. Provision of PPE kits there. So all these activities were done, and it was a very challenging situation. The plant was closed. Our suppliers, they were in lockdown zones even after the lockdown was opened, and also our dealership showrooms, those were closed. So it was a big challenge. So we had to take care of the welfare of all these people. So all the pending payments of our dealers, of our suppliers, they were immediately made so that they are able to pay to their employees and no one comes under pressure because of the stoppage of the work. We also made advance payments to our suppliers and also to our dealers to ensure that their cash flows are not impacted. And then, under the, say, leadership of our managing director, Mr. Ayukawa, a team of, say, senior managers was formed. And he used to have a daily communication with this team. Continuously for 9 months, this meeting was happening every day. And all the points would be discussed. Everyone was made to speak. Because under this kind of situations, what happens is, distributed and delegated leadership becomes very important. And that's what our managing director followed. And he became a great listener. And, during this period, he used to talk to each and every person to, speak about his ideas, about his views. And then, summing up those views and coming out with, say, action points towards the end of the meeting. So that helped us a lot. And every day when he'll review, his first question would be about the safety of the employees. Safety of the employees at our plant, safety of the employees at our dealership, safety of the employees at our suppliers. So that was on the topmost of the agenda, and we went beyond the say our defined responsibilities and activities, to the extent that we helped in developing the ventilators, which was not our core competency. So we, tied up with the ventilator manufacturers and, people who were making 30, 40 ventilators a month. We, brought that production to almost 500, 600 units a month by helping them. And much more than that subsequently. Our suppliers, they started manufacturing masks, PPE kits, which were not manufactured in India till that point of time. So these were the activities that we took up during this period, and then we move forward. And now coming to your, point of demand of the vehicles. See, first thing is that there was a lot of, say, pent-up demand because in the year 18-19, we had sold 17,54,000 vehicles, to be very precise, while there was a drop in the sales in the subsequent year, 19-20. because of, say, slow economic growth. And subsequently, we had this COVID. So there was a lot of pent-up demand once we started manufacturing. That was one thing. Second thing, yes, people did move towards personal mobility. What you are saying is right, that people who were using public transport, buses or metros, or even the shared mobility, they were using. So they moved towards personal vehicles, which also led to a spurt in demand. So two factors. One is because of the pent-up demand of, say, slow performance of earlier years. And number two, the demand arising out of, say, personal vehicles, this thing, emphasis by the people. So these two reasons are giving a very high, demand at the moment. Now, at this point of time, talking about future, I would talk with a measured optimism. Vehicle prices have gone up because of the introduction of new technologies, new regulations by the government. So that may be a deterrent moving forward. And we have to see how long there is sustenance of this demand. So we have to be little, measured, optimistic about this parameter. But overall, yes, economy is doing well. Government's policies are in place, and GDP growth expected in the year 22 is very, very high. And, they have mentioned, the IMF has mentioned that India will be the only country in the world to achieve double-digit growth in the year 2022. So we are optimistic about the future, and we are always prepared towards, providing the vehicles, whatever demand is there, our actions are in place.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, watching something that as company, which is a car manufacturing company during pandemic, went to produce masks and PPE kits and helping the society at large. And how did Maruti recover little, because 2019 has been overall a year which was not giving growth, but finally, whether we call it social distancing, getting into personal vehicles and moving forward. Kalsi-san, I have a very important point here which I am looking at. Maruti is always ahead in the market. You drive the trend in the market. And I'm specifically talking about your initiative of Arena. How and what is happening on this aspect? How has Arena progressed till now? And what is the future at? And also looking at this kind of transformation which you have done, what is your plan of training and development, especially behavioral as well as customer centricity? Also the skill set enhancement of reskilling, upskilling, cross-functional skilling, so far as people are concerned. Because this Arena would certainly be a game changer for the Maruti Suzuki in days to come. And I see that in case people are trained, people are skilled, people are reskilled, people are behavioral in terms of customer centricity, your Arena will be a biggest mover in the country.
That's very interesting question, Bakshi-san, I should say. Now, having launched the Nexa, and all kinds of research went into it, I shared with you and the audience. Then the next question was, how about our existing, dealership network? And what we were discussing among ourselves was that even this customer has come a long way. He may be conservative, he may be, say, first-time buyer, and he may be, say, highly family-oriented, aspirational person. But even his family has, acquired that kind of, say, digital literacy over a period of time. So, and he also has, this thing, children who have been brought up in a different kind of an environment with different kind of aspirations. So how about the experience of our existing channel people? So we had to, understand and appreciate that they deserve equally good and great experience, a new kind of an experience when they visit our showroom. So we started working on Arena concept, where we brought in, say, touch screens, where a customer could come and interact on the touch screens. He could design his own vehicle. He could, in a limited way, he could accessorize his vehicle at a, touch of a finger. He could see the vehicle 360 degree on the touch screen. we provided a family lounge, because here, this customer who comes to this channel is a family-oriented customer. When he has to buy a car, it's the first comes with his wife, he comes with his two children, they all discuss around the car. So they like to sit in the showroom. So we created special coffee corners for them. We created special discussion lounges there for the customer, and created altogether different, say, ambience in our existing showrooms, upgraded those showrooms. So that's how the concept of Arena was actually envisaged and introduced, executed. And today our customers who are visiting Arena, they are equally happy. They are equally appreciating our, say, technological upgradation there, and the treatment they get there, the hospitality they get there. So they are working on that. Now, you asked another very important question, that skilling, reskilling, not only in Maruti, but even at our dealerships is very important. Because if our customer is now technically, more sound, technological savvy, and he is, say, working on, say, digital platforms. So our staff at dealerships, are they equipped to handle that kind of a customer? So our staff at dealership was also trained in a big way in the new technology. And let me share with you that there are total 26 touch points that a customer has before buying a car. Now today, out of those 26 touch points, 21 are digital in nature. And only 5 are, a real interaction at the dealership, physical interaction at the dealership. So that kind of situation is emerging. So we had to train our dealer manpower, and we are working on a system at our Arena workshops where a customer can explore the vehicle in the comfort of his drawing room or in the comfort of his car. And then he can fix an appointment from there with the, say, showroom manager. And moment he walks in there, the showroom manager will know that this guy has zeroed down on Swift, red color Swift. So he starts from there only. So it's a seamless experience to the customer in terms of online and offline. So that's the kind of delight Arena is creating. And we are training our people in that direction. Within Maruti, we are, very much aware of the fact that reskilling people is very important. Multi-skilling is very important, particularly during COVID time. We experienced that if a certain set of people is quarantined, say in the weld shop, so suppose 20 welders are missing from there. So can I pick up a guy from assembly line and, assign him those welding stations? That can only happen if he is a multi-skilled person. So the importance of multi-skilling was always there. But during the COVID time, it has taught us that it is very, very important now. So we have within our organization, say, training workshops for these people, practical training. We have MSTA, Maruti Training Academy within our own organization. Also, we have tie-up with ITIs. We are on, say, Indo-Japanese training, initiatives which we have taken up. We have tied up with some universities also to train people there. So all these activities are going on at a exponential scale today. And I think that is the need of the hour, retraining and reskilling the people. And even for our managers, I think, the leadership literacies required will be totally different today. What those were, say, 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So continuously, we have to sharpen the saw and train our people at all the levels.
That's amazing. That is Maruti Suzuki. I have personally been associated with Maruti Suzuki leadership training, middle level, senior managers, but I have not been on the other side, sales and dealers, which is my passion. You should involve global talent as well sometime. In fact, Kalsi-san, what is your view on India's Atmanirbhar? When you see India, when we were talking about in February 2020, the entire Western media talked about India is going to be disaster. And by March 2021, India became the hub of the world, healing the world, with our Prime Minister Modi, as well as all our scientists working day and night to create COVID, vaccination. And today, India is IT hub as well as manufacturing hub. How do you see the leadership in this entire of being what was the skill set required in March 2020 and what is the skill set? What kind of skill sets do you envisage are required? And how does Maruti look at those key skill sets? I have also derived some of the skill sets from my side, which I have shared on the social media last 9-10 months. I've been training some people. What, as a business leader, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skill sets which you feel are very important and critical now as well as going forward?
See, one of the most important thing is that our leadership has to be, instead of pleasing people, they should be challenging people. Challenging them, giving them, this thing, high level, say, goals, rather not the goals, but the, say opportunities, potential. What is it that is possible, the possibilities. So that part is very important. The leadership across the country has to be transformational. That's very, very important. We have to move from the concept of a trained leader to a transformational leader, because it all starts there. And as you said, so many things which were thought to be impossible those days. And our country, under the, say, dynamic leadership of our Prime Minister, under his Atmanirbhar plan, because he inspired the people. He inspired the teams of, say, our professionals, be it doctors, be it engineers, be it our, say, paramedics. So who knew, say, even a year ago, that India can emerge as a country which will provide the COVID protection vaccine to rest of the country. It's a matter of pride for all of us. And similarly, the way COVID situation was controlled, the way COVID vaccination is now being administered to a huge population, because our population has its own challenges. It has its own, potential opportunities and the challenges as well. So leadership really inspired the people in a big way. So whether it's in the field of industry, where our dependence on imports has to be reduced. That was a vision that Prime Minister gave and worked towards Atmanirbhar India. And all those innovations are now happening in the country. And something which can be done for the price, say 10x elsewhere in the world, we are able to do it at X, 1/10 of the price. Now, that is the strength of our country. So a huge talent pool, a motivated talent pool, and inspired talent pool is doing the things in that direction. Say PPE kits were never manufactured, not even a single unit was manufactured in our country earlier. And we did that when the, this thing, the challenge came. So, say leadership has to put those challenges to the people. Leadership has to inspire the people. Leadership has to tap the potential of the people. Now, these are some of the very important points. And then people have unlimited powers, unlimited energies. If these are unleashed, there has to be a regulatory platform which has to be highly supportive and work towards the development rather than regulation. So these are some of the things which have to be introduced here. And I think sky is the limit, and the decade belongs to our country now. Decade belongs to India.
Just brilliant, Kalsi-san. My last point, when this all is happening, we talk about before COVID, during COVID, and after COVID, BC, DC, and AC. We are still somewhere near DC, and we are finally going to be in AC after COVID. How about this digitalization, which has impacted all of us? Like, I am a person who was never on this digital mode. I was into the classrooms around the world, taking 4 to 5 flights in a month between various countries. But I got on this box. I did more than 300 webinars. How do you see digitalization becoming part and parcel? And especially when you have done a lot of work on Maruti Suzuki, along with leadership and the digitalization, making an impact to the end customer.
See, that digitization now, we are beyond that question, whether it is required or not. It is a part and parcel of our life. And I think life without digitization is unthinkable. And its benefits, I think both of us can go on, maybe, listing these benefits all through the night. So I'll not go into that. But I'll certainly like to say that COVID has, as an opportunity, has, led to a situation where that digitization, introduction of digitization has happened at an exponential pace. And we Indians are very good at that. If we are, given the circumstances where it becomes a matter of survival, then we, this thing do it very well. We survive in a big way, and we survive with flying colors. And today, like this kind of a conference was unimaginable without, say, digital support. People from across the globe sitting together in different time zones without spending a single penny on their transportation, from the comfort of their offices or their maybe homes. We are having this kind of a session, which was unimaginable. So similarly, as I mentioned, that we are working on, say, virtual reality in a big way, augmented reality. And today, we have created digital platforms where a customer can, from A to Z, complete all the activities sitting in the comfort of his home without even a single visit to the dealership. He can buy a car, which includes car purchase, car finance, car insurance, accessories, selling his used car, everything. And if he doesn't want to come to the dealership to take the delivery, even delivery will be made at his doorstep with all the celebrations, all the paraphernalia that we do at the dealership. So that's the kind of things which are emerging. And certainly these are bringing a lot of value into the system, a lot of saving in terms of time, money, and a lot of speed they are adding into the activities. Efficiencies in the systems are improving. Rather, on a lighter note, I would like to say that people say that, okay, let the vaccine be there and we'll return into pre-COVID era. So why do you want to return to pre-COVID era? There are big advantages, big benefits we have made during the COVID era, and we have to actually maintain and take these benefits, advantages to the next level without, of course, the COVID disease around in the post-COVID area. So that is one thing. And second thing I would like to say is that this kind of a big disruption which COVID brought in has taught us many lessons. And particularly people, when they talk about disruption, all the B schools, all the management gurus, they talk about VUCA. They are one of the very commonly used words, that we are in a VUCA environment, and perhaps we are at the peak of VUCA environment during COVID. Now, my viewpoint on VUCA is that, okay, the V, which, people say is about volatility. I talk about a new VUCA where you convert this volatility into vision. Then U, the uncertainty of VUCA, it has to be converted into understanding. And C, the complexity of VUCA has to be converted into clarity. And A, ambiguity of word VUCA has to be converted into action. So move with a vision, with an understanding, with a clarity, and take actions. Ideation to action is what we need to focus on, and in a very, very shorter time frame than it used to be earlier. That's my view on, say, COVID and post-COVID era.
Wow, I just love it. What you said about VUCA, I said same thing in 2018 on VUCA. V, volatile is vision. U, uncertain is unknown, unheard, unbelievable practices. And C, complexity, I said, is capability and competency. And A, ambiguous, I said, is alignment. And I will share one YouTube with you with a background board wherein even the date of that lecture is given 2018. I was addressing as a keynote speaker of ISTD, came from Bangkok.
I see.
On that. So you have actually shared the similar kind of VUCA. Ladies and gentlemen around the world, VUCA is not, the pandemic is super duper VUCA, but the moment you think that it is going to be destroying, then the world is not yours. Like Kalsi-san has talked about VUCA differently. You must understand the super meaning of VUCA. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take your questions, please now. My questions are over. And I have Kurt Halsgruber from Berlin. He is asking a question. I had heard in Germany, people staying for 2 decades, 3 decades in a company, but I never knew about in India, someone doing this. Can the speaker respond one thing that make him to stay in this company for so long? Just one thing I want to know. However, I appreciate him being in this company for a long time. Els Gruber from Berlin is asking this question to you. Kalsi-san, Hels Gruber from Berlin is asking a question. Please ask the speaker why he stayed for so long in one company he had heard in Germany, but not in India. What one thing it made him to stay in this company? Hels Gruber from Berlin. What's your response?
Well, within a company, I think I held various assignments. So going to each different area was like working in a new organization. So I think that's the level of engagement I had. So if a company, always keeps on challenging its employees, challenging its leaders, they will never leave, because people love to have challenges. They love to work under those challenging environments and produce results and emerge as winners. That's, I think, the reason why I have continued with this organization for so many years.
Another question coming from Chicago for Akansha. What is your strategy for global expansion? We would love to see it in the US. Kalsi-san.
Well, Akansha, let me tell you.
Chicago, she says, what is your strategy for global expansion? We would love to see it in the US.
Well, Akansha, thank you for that question. Let me share with you that, our company, Suzuki, is present globally. And today, we from Maruti Suzuki, we export our cars to more than 100 countries, including, say, Europe, South Africa, South America, and earlier we were, Suzuki had a, this thing set up in America as well. They had a plant in Canada, Cami. So we are a global company, and it's a matter of opportunities in a particular country that, we expand our operations and activity, and Suzuki also takes a call.
Very great. Niti Sharma from Mumbai, she is Women Power Mumbai chapter. Where do you see Maruti in next 10 years, Kalsi-san?
Well, that's a wonderful question. Now, you see, what they say is that today, in today's era, certainty is not something which one can, talk about. It's only the clarity. So 10 years down the line, there would be many regulatory changes. There would be, focus on the alternate fuels, not only electric vehicles, but also, say, biofuels. And, we are already focused on CNG. So there'll be a lot of focus on that. And also in terms of mobility, there would be a focus on the mass rapid transportation, which is right now not very prominent in India. So everything is linked with that. And I think India is a country where the car market is, has a huge potential, because we have about 24 cars per 1,000 people compared to, say, anything between, say, 400 to 700 in the other developed countries, be it Europe or America. So there's a huge unmet demand, and the future of automobiles in India is really bright for the years to come.
Fantastic. There's another question coming from Suresh Pandalwar. Your Nexa is certainly a game changer, but he's asking for a question. What is a BHAG, H-A-G, HAG, to Maruti in coming years, sir? What is BHAG? I don't understand. B-HAG. Suresh, I am not able to understand your question. You are saying what is B-HAG, HAG to Maruti in coming years, sir? I think you'll have to repeat your question, then only I can take your question. I don't understand your question, sir. What is BHAG? In the meanwhile, I got another question from Honey from Durban. And Honey says, your journey has been beautiful and excellent. Makes you to be what you are today, and what is your message to young, bright, budding managers about their leadership? Honey from Durban.
Well, I would like to say, I would like to say that, keep challenging yourself, challenging your potential, because, and go on learning. Sometimes people carry a tag that, okay, I am an MBA from so-and-so place, I am an engineer from IIT, and I have no hesitation in sharing with you that I carry no such tags, because, say, if I would have acquired some knowledge of MBA, say 40 years ago, it won't have been relevant today. So what is important here is continuous learning on an ongoing basis. And maybe I read at least 5 books a month, and I read all the important journals. So continuously learning and reinventing yourself is very important. Then second thing, always go in the middle of the challenging assignments and accept new challenges. Maybe you may fail sometimes, you may, this thing emerge as a winner sometimes, but there are always good learnings in that. And then I would like to say my favorite quote here from Lao Tzu, who says that to see things in the seed is the genius. So look at every opportunity as a big potential opportunity and accept those challenges.
Brilliant. I have many questions. Ash Rana from Australia, Brisbane. Ash, I will take your question later. You're in the midnight, and here I can see Anshul. Anshul, I can unmute you, and you can ask the question yourself because you are on, Zoom. Please unmute Varsha, Amrish. Unmute Anshul. She can ask the question. Anshul, go ahead. Can you? Anshul, please go ahead and ask the question. Okay, Mr. Harkoli, please go ahead and ask the question. Yeah, Anshul, go ahead and ask the question. Anshul, I am unmuting you. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, very good evening. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, Anshul is the director of a business school in Navi, Mumbai. And she is, of course, Women Power Chapter Head for Mumbai Western Zone also. Anshul, please go ahead and ask the question.
Thank you. Thank you. And first of all, congratulations to you. Since a new baby has born by the name of New DNA of Leadership, it's a matured baby now, 9 months and 37 weeks. So congratulations to you for creating this such a legacy that you are doing so wonderfully. And really amazed to see the kind of discussion was happening, since the session began. And thanks to Mr. Kalsi also for the kind of culture that he has shown through his discussion during this session about the Maruti. And my question to him is that since Maruti has always, got into some new things and just doing something for the benefit of their own employees and shared welfare, that is one thing that he talked about, and the commitment also. So my question to him is that now since Government of India has put up a new policy wherein a cap of having 15 years of lifespan for any vehicle is come out. So what is the plan of Maruti wherein they can come out with any kind of customer oriented policy wherein a benefit is being provided to the loyal customers who are owning their vehicle for past 15 years, because after that it would be scrapped. So for the person who has owned this vehicle, it's of no value. So what kind of customer oriented policy they can come up with? So Kalsi sir.
Kalsi sir, you need to unmute yourself. Yes.
Yes. The policy on scrappage, we are yet to have the complete details of the policy. At the same time, let me share with you about the
Kalsi sir, you need to unmute yourself. You need to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, so point is that the full clarity or details on the scrappage policy are yet to come out, and once those are there, then we will take action accordingly. At the same time, for our loyal customers who have been using Maruti vehicles and they want to go in for upgrades or change to other vehicles, we offer a very handsome exchange bonus to our customers, and even with or without scrappage policy, people can come to our showroom and kind of a benefit of their loyalty to the company.
Very good. Yes, Mr. J.P. Malhotra, you can raise your question. I can unmute you, Mr. Malhotra. Rotarian, Mr. Malhotra, President of DLF Industries Association. I am unmuting you. Please go ahead and ask question. Mr. Malhotra, please go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, Mr. Malhotra. Please go ahead.
First of all, let me greet Kalsi sir. Sir, I've been following you ever since you were working with Maruti. But today my player has no boundaries when I come to know that you are from DCE. And I also happen to be 70 graduate mechanical from DCE. Wow. And I've been also taught by Dr. Y.V.S.R. Shastri and Professor Balani. There's a matter of pride for me and my college alma mater that we have a gentleman like S Kalsi, who is heading such a big, vast empire in Maruti, and he belongs to DCE. Now, I'll spread this information to my colleagues of my batch. Sir, my question to you is regarding how do you percolate the engagement and the enthusiasm in the lower rung of the workforce? This is one part. And secondly, you talked about the shared destiny principle. Now, how can we transmit this to MSMEs? Large-scale companies is understandable. You have a formal setup, you have people, you have different spreaders, influencers in your company who can go to department to department. But in a small setup, here we have a workforce of 100 people only. How do we transmit the principle of shared destiny?
Okay, nice knowing Malhotra Saab that you are my, alumnus, and talking about your, question, say shared destiny first. If we talk about, what they say is that the fundamental values or the core values of the organizations remain the same, whether these are big organizations or small organizations. Rather, in a small organization, there's always a better opportunity of connecting with the people, of meeting them at a higher frequency, and then inculcating that kind of a culture among them. And then how it has to be percolated down the line is again very important. I think the leaders, they have to walk the talk. When we say the leaders, for a worker working on the assembly line, it is his supervisor who's the leader. Now you can't expect a blue collar worker who is sweating on the line and the white collar worker supervisors, they are chatting, alongside or having a cup of tea alongside. And similarly, you don't expect a worker to be punctual if the supervisors are coming late. So leadership at every level has to, set an example. And I mentioned during our discussions also with Bakshi-san that leadership has a price. It's not about perks. It's not about fat salary or a big house or a big car. Yes. It's all about price. And leaders, they have to pay the price. That's very important to percolate that culture down the line.
Beautiful.
Wonderful explanation. Wonderful explanation. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We are now 7 p.m., 1.5 hours. Vivek Harkoli, please go ahead. I think this could be the last question. Vivek, I am unmuting you. Please go ahead. Vivek, you can go ahead. Yes, Vivek.
Good evening, Mr. Bakshi. Good evening, Mr. Kalsi.
Good evening.
In every session of Mr. D.K. Bakshi, with anybody, I have always a lot of learnings. And today from your session, Mr. Kalsi, I have 3 learnings. First, you said the mission. The mission brings smiles. In my previous organization, they said customer delight. But I think bring smiles is a notch up. And I think that's the biggest thing that your company has, bring smiles. The second, you said value-based organization. And I think that's a great step forward to bring an organization which is value-based. And last, and I think I was most impressed with that, what you said, target versus potential. And I think this has been probably my biggest learning, that target is something which is fine, but potential is perhaps even more important. Thank you very much. Now I come to 2 questions. One, you have a mass range of product, for example, Ignis, Wagon R, and people have expectations and people have aspirations. In this segment of cars, can you make the product even better? By better, I mean, your company has manufacturing in Gurgaon and you know what roads in Gurgaon are. Hopeless. Can you make the existing range of the car even better? Which means, I give you a simple example. You drive cars in Gurgaon, the doors start rattling. Can you make the cars even more sturdy? So that is the first question. The second, yes, you have a semi-premium, if I may add be a little bit of a critique. You have a semi-premium range and Nexa range. Does Maruti intend to go and compete with the real premium segments like BMW or Mercedes or Audi? These are my two questions.
Yeah.
Vivek, answer to first question is that it's a continuous process of learning for us, and we have a very strong system of taking customer feedback. We have our own, warranty handling departments and quality assurance department, service department, and we closely monitor all the feedback that comes from the marketplace and go on, incorporating those improvements into our products on an ongoing basis. Second part is, our country at the moment, as I said, is highly underserved in terms of the, say, car population. And we are in the mass market. And that is where the big opportunities, big potential lies. And we don't intend to, go into the higher segment where numbers are very limited. And we will not be able to serve a major chunk of our countrymen in that segment.
Thank you for the clarification. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. I can't take, ladies and gentlemen, more questions because I'm already at 19-minute show. Hey, Kalsi-san, are you seeing the power of Maruti Suzuki and power of Kalsi-san? There are many more questions coming in, but I think I need to close the program. And before closing the program, I would request In Narula is our Director of Global Talent Bangkok. He is a Thai Sikh, 4th generation in the country, and he is Thai nationality, and he is going to be offering the final vote of thanks. In Sawadee Cup, please go ahead and speak to you.
Sawadee Cup, how are you?
Very well, Ajahn Cup, Sawadee Cup.
Sawadee Cup, Dr. Bakshi, and a great hand folding and respect to Kalsi-san. Kalsi-san, I am truly impressed. It has been such a wonderful experience this evening listening to you. You have taken us through your childhood and you learn to be kind and humble because of your mother. You learn to be technically and mechanically very qualified because of your daddy. What a brilliant combination of dad and mom. Thanks to them. And you don't forget the people who have educated you. Mr. Agrawal, Mr. Shastri, through your education, you have become truly professional and you are what you are today because of your father, mother, and teachers and lecturers. You have learned to be dedicated. You have learned to be committed. You have learned to work hard. And you have learned after you have done your best, you give it a little more to make the difference. Ladies and gentlemen, he has taken us through many, many important points. But very importantly, I think he talks about knowing your customers, knowing their lifestyle, knowing their pocket size. You see, these are lessons that we learn, and he gave many good examples. They provide total solutions. They provide insurance. They provide finance. They provide buying cars, the second-hand car, so that customer would be able to buy a new car. What a brilliant idea. Really, total 360-degree solutions. They also look after their employees. They look after their employees because they are family. They talk, they listen to each other. They are one team, they have one dream, and they create the future values together. They bring smiles to their customers. They bring India on wheels. They provide efficient and effective vehicles. They train, they upskill, and they reskill their people. Their partners are beyond the walls. They train and upskill their supplier, dealers, and people in the logistics department also. What a brilliant way to do business. What a strategy. Brilliant. Bravo to you. They focus on quality and style. They focus on design. They focus on communication. They focus on technology. They focus on providing continuous challenges for their partners and stakeholders. They project and create future values. Wow, what a brilliant, brilliant way, projecting into the future of the needs of their customers. During COVID, no one was sacked. No salaries were cut. Safety is of utmost importance for their employees, for their suppliers, for their dealers, for their stakeholders. They communicate and they listen. They are tapped to help societies at large by adapting, producing masks, and even producing ventilators for the society at large. Bravo, sir. For our Kalsi-san. Let me sum it up. Nothing is for free. Leadership comes with a price. Leadership has big power. And with these big powers come huge responsibility to create more leaders. With these responsibilities to your customers, to your employees, to your stakeholders and partners, responsibility to respect facts, projecting facts into the future through research, respecting environment, immediate environment, and also environment of the globe, global environment. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all stand up and give a standing ovation to our very professional Kalsi-san. Brilliant, sir. Thank you. And Kalsi-san, sir, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for a brilliant discourse this evening, sir.
Put Magna Achan in. What a brilliant vote of thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, Ash, you have a midnight. You need to sleep now. I could see Rajneesh Kagan from Weimar, India, joined and watching this show. Kalsi-san, I must tell you, it has been an amazing experience knowing about your leadership journey of excellence, along with Maruti leadership journey of excellence. And all the attendees, there are still some questions. All the attendees around the world, people are from here about 10 to 12 countries here, and there are still some questions. On behalf of Global Talent and on behalf of New DNA of Leadership, the 35th program, started with Mr. Saklin Siddiqui, and today you are at 35th. There are many more people going to come forward because I am going to do it till end of 2021. From the core of my heart, thank you very much for your contribution. And some of this excellence journey will be taken forward. And you will see after the YouTube is circulated, it will go again into the world entirely on the social media. People will keep on watching it. And people will keep on looking at what was discussed. I must thank you from the core of my heart, Kalsi-san.
Thank you, Bakshi Sahab, for such a wonderful interaction. Thank you, Nirula Sahab, for your kind words. And thank you all the audience for investing your time in this discussion. All the best. God bless us.
Okay, good day in US, Canada.
Kalsi-san and Dr. Bakshi, I look forward to seeing both of you either in India or in Thailand, sir. Please bring Kalsi-san here into Thailand. Look forward to that.
Yes. Yeah, we will have an India Thai Chamber of Commerce talk in the evening. We can talk to the larger audience, and Indian Association of Thailand. We can do one talk in the evening, like we had done earlier with Dr. Pritam Singh, Mr. Siddiqui, and others. Somehow we could not get him into that kind of a mode. Look forward to doing that. All the best. Good night in Asia Pacific. Good afternoon in Europe, and good day in US and Canada. All the best. Thanks for joining. Please stay in touch. And next New Day of Leadership Wednesday, another great business leader is going to be part of us. Ladies and gentlemen, take care and all the best. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good night, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.